So yeah, I got some extra members. I got 6 fools. I got the 7th one finally.
Oh, the one you were waiting for.
Yeah.
Right.
So you now have all 7. This is a wonderful treat today. We have 7 Tibetan singing bowls of each of the different chakras, and Lydia is going to be talking to us about the personal expression and the colors and the art forms that also come with all the chakras. So today appears to be a chakra day.
Yeah. Okay.
So set, go ahead.
Breathing in, allowing the singing bowls to come in to your space. We're resonant beings, and our hearts and our minds open with the sound of the bowls. Just listen to them, allowing your body to respond to them. Breathing in, taking a triple breath 3 times. Looking into your heart space, feeling and touching and knowing that beautiful, clear crystal light that's at the center of your chest, right around your heart space. See this light expanding. Feel it deep within you, knowing this is the light of your heart, governs the heart space and all of that beyond. Feel that light space expanding and going out well beyond your body. And sense that light space going down your body to your hips, your knees, and your feet. And sense it going out of the bottom of your feet. And as it does, it goes deep into Mother Earth, all the way through the Earth's crust and the mantle, going all the way deep to the core of the earth. See that light space traveling all those miles at light speed. And sense that dark, deep, strong, crystalline structure at the center of the earth. And imagine yourself wrapping your light around it and grounding in the process. Connecting you to Mother Earth in all ways, in all dimensions, in all paradigms, through all space and time. Feel how grounded and connected we all are to Mother Earth simultaneously. And as we connect our heart space to Mother Earth, so do we send her blessings, appreciation, and gratitude. We acknowledge the abundance of the earth. We acknowledge the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, the clothes on our back, and the shelter over our head. All comes from Mother Earth. And together, as we say our prayer of appreciation and gratitude, we thank her for her abundance. Feeling that light space coming back up to the bottom of your feet, coming into your heart space, seeing it go all the way up, up and out of the top of your head, through the top of the roof of the building, into the Earth's atmosphere, into our sun system, into all the galaxies and beyond, and see us going in to the heavens, to all space, all time, all dimensions, as we recognize that our heart space energy, while it simultaneously connects us to the earth, also connects us to the farthest reaches of all the galaxies that exist. Seeing, hearing, feeling, and touching all the realities out there. Now bringing that light back into our heart space. And as we've gone up and down vertical, now do we go out horizontally. Feel that heart space. Connecting to all the people next to you, everyone in this room, in this city, in this state. Going out now, moving all around the world, and see your heart space circling the earth. And as it does, it opens and connects, embraces everyone here on the earth, all the people, all the animals, all the plants and rocks, mountains, water, and see how connected we are to everything here. And visualize now your energy going out like a supernova, 360 degrees, like a spherical energy in all directions. This is the power of our heart space. And now calling in your guides, your guardian angels, any elemental energies you work with, starseed families, deceased loved ones, teachers, ascended masters, whomever walks with you on this journey, who inspires you, calling them in now, setting purposeful intent for you to see the universal truth of all situations, to know your path, and why it is that you chose this incarnation at this time, and what it is that you set intentions to accomplish, guiding you in that process now. Recognizing the energies of the ever-present I am. Seeing the beauty of who you are and who we are. Recognizing the light in everyone who comes across your path, even if they themselves don't recognize their own light. You seeing it in them is enough to spark and ignite its energies. This can be your gift to all humanity, recognizing the light in everyone. Breathing that in. setting purposeful intent to know who we are and what we are. We are amazing, divine, crystalline beings of light. This is our true nature. Anything else is false evidence appearing real. Bringing that energy in, owning it, having it be a part of us. And so it is. And whenever you're ready, come back to the flow. I feel great. How do you feel? Those are just so beautiful. Isn't he wonderful? Thank you so much. This is Aum Now, and he comes to see us once a month and shares his beautiful bowls with us. And this is Lydia Ringwald. She's our guest speaker today, and she's going to be talking to us about beautiful energy that colors bring into us. So I didn't really realize this. Our normal musician today would have been Jason, but he couldn't make it, so we asked Gabriel to come. And we always talk about sound and color, and today we're going to get sound and color joined in together. But first, what I'd like to talk to you about is the word power. Specifically, do you have your own power, or are there situations where you give your power away to people? And I have Pearl shaking her head now.
I used to, but not anymore.
And I'm not just talking about being in a relationship and maybe one person has a dominant way of being, but I'm really talking about, even at a greater level, the power it is for you to create the world that you live in, what it is that you choose to believe. And I talk a lot about things that happen to us, and I use that phrase lightly. Only things that happen in our lives are things that we create. And if we create it, we must have, on some level, in some place and time, agreed to it. And agreement doesn't necessarily mean consent. I consent to you yelling at me, but if we agree, oh, this person's going to yell at us, then you have actually co-created it. Just by acknowledging its possibility. So I have a few small examples for you. I ordered a new laptop a couple of weeks ago from Dell, and it was about time to upgrade my laptop. Older technology, and I work so much from home on the manuals and things here that I wanted something nice. So I ordered a Superman style laptop. I went all out and got the JBL speakers and the voice recognition thing on it. It's the Fantastic Four of laptops. And Dell said it'll be delivered on February 25th. But I decided it would come early. Don't know why, but I just said in my head, my laptop's going to come before the 25th. So I went to go to work the other day, and he said, I don't know, he said, Dell's been really late. I had to cancel my order because they delayed it 3 times. And I paused as he said that, and I went, I choose not to accept that. I said, my laptop's going to come in early. And as soon as he left, I checked my email, and Dell said, your laptop is shipped. It'll be there by February 21st. It gets better. I drove to work. I walked in here, and it was, that day was whatever it was, 21st is Tuesday. I walked in here on Thursday. It was sitting on the front desk. It had already been delivered. But I decided it was going to come early. And I had no ideas that were different. I had no conflicting beliefs. I had decided to create my reality that it would be here before that day. And indeed it came on, what's today's date? Say the 18th? 19th? So it came on the 17th, a whole week early. Last weekend at the Celebrate Your Radiance Day in Laguna Woods, I had some essential oils with me. And I've been learning all about all the different essential oils and which ones go in which part of the body and what they do. And I have a little kit that has all the oils in it, and every day I use them and I'm learning about them and bringing them into my practice. And as I was working on some of the ladies over there, I decided to oil them up before I started working on them. And I pulled out a bunch of oils and I put them, here, there, and said put this here and put this there. And I had heard that some oils you can't put on topically neat, that you have to either take internally with a gel cap or you need to dilute with fractionated coconut oil.
Actually, you should dilute all your essential oils.
Pardon?
You should dilute all your essential oils except for lavender and tea tree that you're using yours.
Well, I decided I didn't like that reality. So I said, I'm not going to have to dilute these. I don't accept that any of them will burn. So I was putting the oils on the ladies, and I use these really, really small 5/8 of a size dram. So the pour spout is not big. You don't get this puddle. I mean, you basically get almost like just a glaze of the oil on your hand. So it really is a lot of frugality in using them. But I was oiling them up, and they were all getting nice and warm and easy to work with and very malleable, and smiling as I was putting the oils on them. And again, it was just a glaze on the hand because these spouts are very small. And I got back to the temple and I was telling Tanya about it, and she said, you have to be careful. She said some of those oils will burn skin, and those ladies are older. And I went, oh, gosh, maybe she's right. Maybe I should have been more careful. That night I went home and I put cassia on my forehead, and it was bright red, and it felt like I'd been out in 3 hours in the sun with a sunburn. My forehead was scorched red, and because I had accepted that as reality. And I had been putting cassia on my forehead for weeks before that, and nothing had happened. So I got up and I put coconut oil on it to dilute it, and in my mind I went, okay, this will stop it, so in 5 minutes it did. But the point is, every single piece of reality that I experienced was as a result of what I decided to have as it be true. I gave my power away when I believed Tanya saying that the oils could burn, but I took it back. And I put some cassia on my forehead last night, and it burned a tiny bit, and I said, what's going on? And my skin said, but I remember it burned. So my skin had cellular memory of it burning, even though it wasn't anywhere near as much as it was the day before. But I had given my power over to the idea that the essential oils could burn. And then I decided to take them back. So what power are we giving to any kind of individual person in our life? Or rules, conformity? What power are we giving culture, group consciousness? How many of us have given our power away to this economy? So many of us, in this economy, things need to be cheaper and people can't expect to buy this, and my classes won't fill because, in this economy no one has money. Are you giving your power away to that? Does anybody sense that maybe taking all that power back, that they wouldn't necessarily have integrity with all that power? They wouldn't know what to do with all that power? Could I get you to agree to the idea that even if you had all the power to do everything in your world and create your own reality, that you wouldn't harm anybody because the universe would not allow you to violate anybody else's free will? There's nothing that you can do to harm anyone else, or it's the idea of, I read something the other day, there was some blog, and I love the fact that all the metaphysical stuff is getting in all the blogs out there now, and you have people that are responding back. And how many of us practice asking the angels for a great parking spot when we come into a place? Well, somebody in the blog said, well, that's just great. You manifest a parking lot, a good parking space, and then some elderly lady who really needs that spot isn't going to get it because you manifested it. I went, oh, okay. What paradigm do you think that you live in that you would actually create something that would take something away from somebody else or harm somebody else? Do you think the angels would give you a parking spot and make an elderly lady walk 5 times farther just because you remembered to ask for it and she didn't? The paradigm that gets created for you makes it so that you can have that parking spot and nobody else is none the worse for it. Yes, it's true, if the elderly lady didn't remember to ask for it, to know for it, that she might not get it, but it is not that you get something and somebody else doesn't because you took back your power and asked for it. Because we always ask, when we set the intent that we ask for something for the highest and best good of all involved. And when I remember to put that tagline on there, when I ask for something, and I always say, and for the highest and best good of all involved, even if I didn't say that, that's how it would work. But by me saying that, I am reminding myself it's okay to ask for whatever I want, to create whatever I want, and I know that nobody will be impaired, improvised, inconvenienced in any way, shape, or form, treated unfairly or inconsequentially based on what I ask for. It's just my way of reminding myself so I can continue to ask it what it is that I want. And it was really strange because during the meditation, I was thinking to myself, I haven't seen Tori in services for a little while, and I opened my eyes and she's sitting right over there. Whether that was an intuitive hit or whether I just simply pictured her, but I did, I actually pictured her sitting there. I thought, while my eyes were closed, I thought I haven't seen her here in a little while, and there you are. Hi, welcome. Thank you for jumping into the paradigm that I created that you were sitting there. But if she were sick or didn't want to be here, in her paradigm, she'd still be sitting at home, comfortable, taking care of herself, having a morning off. But it was in agreement with her paradigm that she be here. And I trust that. When there are millions of different paradigms, and there are, the one that you create is the one that is your reality, but there are multiple paradigms existing in all different time and space and dimensions, where whatever somebody else is creating, their paradigm gets answered too. It's like your little piece of heaven. People ask deceased loved ones all the time, what's it like over there in heaven? Do you remember the movie, What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams? Everybody's heaven is exactly what they create. Isn't this heaven on earth? Isn't it possible that the reality that we live in here, if it can be done without a physical body, is it such a stretch of the imagination that it could be done with a physical body? It's not really that big of a gap to bridge, is it? It's heaven on earth. You get to create whatever it is that you want, and the only thing stopping you is any limiting beliefs or contrary beliefs that say you can't or you shouldn't or you're not worthy or somebody else will suffer from it. And I used to have that belief system where I would think, but what if I created all this and then there's all these people around me and they don't get to create it? That's not fair. Why should my family and friends be sick and impoverished while I'm over here creating all the world of my dreams? Isn't it great to set an example? Isn't it great to be a role model? And then when they ask and they say, how is it that you're doing all of this? You say, it's easy. Can I show you how? And isn't it possible that by you doing it, you're showing them that it's possible? And isn't that the greatest gift you can give to anybody that you love? Being the change, as Mahatma Gandhi would say, be the change in the world that you want to see. If you want to see everybody living free from limited thoughts and free from unhappiness and free from anything in their life that makes them to be unhappy, be that change. Show them it's possible. And then you're giving them the ray of hope. All you need to do is embrace the idea of possibility. It doesn't matter whether it's probable or likely. You don't have to worry about how to fix it and how to do it. Just embrace the possibility. So it isn't so much as taking back your power as it is stop giving it away. Because you really always have it. Even when you give it away, it's still within you. Always is, always has been. Nothing can change that. But when you perceive that you don't have the power, that's when it's not working for you. But the power is in here. Any questions? Anybody have any examples they want to share? Yeah?
Actually, last night, my cousin was in town and we all went out to dinner. And small world, her friend went to college with my friend, 3,000 miles away. So we're all in dinner and he's a trainer and she just lost 6 sizes working out. And I was saying to her that, yeah, it's important to work out and do those kind of things, but it's more important to move in a way that you're happy doing, because that will last forever, as opposed to doing hardcore, insane workouts and it's only going to last for 2 years. And they got so bright red, and it's like I hit like some kind of nerve.
Ooh.
I hit like some type of nerve, and I saw this vein go across his head. And he was like, no, there is a science behind working out, and the happiness comes from achieving your goal, not from doing the workouts. And I was like, okay. I was like, that is your reality. That's awesome. My reality is that I enjoy what I do, and I don't need to be 8% body fat to be happy, so that's my reality. But, I mean, like, they went on for like a good 5 or 6 minutes. They were just not they were both not happy campers by the fact that my reality is that you should do something that makes you happy more than something that you're forced to do for pure results.
Oh yeah, I don't believe in forcing anything. But yeah, you challenge their belief system.
I don't know, and I was just talking to Gold nonchalantly, like, yeah, I think it's just important, it's like, if I don't want to do resistance training and I want to run, I'm happy running. He's like, well, that won't get you your results. That will put on more weight, because when you run and you don't resistance train, you will gain weight, not lose weight. I was like, whoa, don't bring that over here.
Those were his realities.
And I was like, don't bring that to me.
But you chose not to accept it.
Yeah, I'm choosing not to accept that.
Good thing you didn't bring up crystals and essential oils.
Well, I started to talk about, how it's all in your mind, and, and like being happy is really the idea, and they were like, the mindset is working out. They were just like straightforward, but the reality is really didn't hit home at all.
Happiness is the best workout you can do. When you are completely into, I taught a class last Monday called Triad Weight Management. At the end of the day, happy people who have happy thoughts and happy organs and are clear of toxins naturally have a beautifully fit and managed weight system. And we watched The Biggest Loser, and there was that one contestant that had the record high of losing the most weight of all the other contestants, but after the program he put on most of the weight back on because he hadn't adjusted his belief systems. There had to have been a part of him that believed that weight was going to come back on, and so it did. He was afraid that it would, but he gave his power away and didn't keep it. And when you do things like that, there are anything that you do, whether it's weight management or disciplining yourself to learn how to use your new laptop, you can engage in a little bit of force initially to give you the confidence or to get you sort of in the mode of doing it, but nothing should ever be a long-term force. Just a little bit sometimes for inertia.
Well, that was her reality. She kind of stepped in and she said, oh, she does the insanity programs. I don't know if you've ever seen those on TV, but she does like the one that's like it. And she said, well, I absolutely hate what I do in my workouts. I despise it. I hate going, but I do it because I lost 6 sizes, and that's what's important. And that was her, like, so it's just very interesting you're saying about our realities and what we really believe. Because in her mind, she believes that unless she works out that way, she won't see results. How many years can you really...
Interesting, the name that they even applied to it. They actually
Insanity.
called it insanity.
Yeah.
No, she didn't get the joke, did she? That she was doing something that was insane. Forcing your body, forcing yourself. I mean, think about that. Think about the mindset that that creates in your reality, that you have to force yourself to do something. Why would you do that? It isn't necessary. And I mean, how many times have you guys ever said, you know what, I just need to force myself to do this? Think about, next time you hear yourself saying that, I want you to think about it and ask yourself what it is that you feel like you need to accomplish, that you have to force yourself to do it.
Or less conspicuous one is, I need to make this happen. Still has that force and energy.
Same.
We don't feel it as much because we're just making it happen.
I have to.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah. The self-phrase I use is, oh, I need to stop procrastinating. And when I heard myself say that the other day, I thought, okay, I'm not a procrastinator. I get things done. I get more things done than most people I know. Why am I not doing this? I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't like doing this. And then I finally said to the universe, I don't like doing this. And I was talking about a certain job on the magazine. And I said, you know what? I'm going to manifest that I get somebody in here who will do this for me. And I'm not sure how it looks or why it looks, but... And then I sent out an email and I got a response the next day. But I wasn't procrastinating, I simply didn't like doing that aspect, and I gave myself permission not to like it, and say, and I can get somebody who can do this that does like it. That's possible. And so, yeah, I was reproaching myself for procrastinating instead of honoring myself that it just wasn't something I liked doing.
It seems like most of the professional world feels forced. You know, these people have to force themselves to go to a job they don't want, and force themselves, and that's probably why everything's breaking down.
And that's why they're getting sick.
Yeah, it's all.
That's why they're on medications, and why
Right.
their bodies are breaking down and they're aging, because it's not natural. They're forcing themselves to do things.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and I know we have to go grocery shopping, and we have to get up and make our food, and we have to get up and go to work. There are certain things, but we can look at those things and say, okay, I need to have a roof over my head and I need to eat, but I believe it's possible that I could create that reality and I could create that happening, and I can have that happen without forcing myself to do this. And then let the universe come in and show you different ways where that can be done. It's giving yourself permission to have an easy life. How many people are comfortable with that? Yeah, oh, not everybody raised their hand. Would you, okay, so let's just breathe into that for a second. I want you to just put your hand on your heart, especially for those that didn't really take that in. Ask to see the universal truth behind your self-worth, your dignity, your self-esteem. And translate, if easy life to you has any kind of mental translations of that you're not worthy of it, that it means you're lazy, that it means that you're not ambitious, that you won't get what you want, whatever negative translations easy life has, release them now. And bring in universal truth that an easy life can mean excited, inspired, heartfelt, contributing to humanity, setting the most beautiful example, that it is actually divine to create an easy life, because that is the true nature of energetic forces. The things that move, that have inertia, they move with ease and grace. Energy does not resist itself, it moves gracefully and easily. is the most natural thing of all, for the energy to flow through you with ease and grace and beauty. And you accomplish more, set the example better, live longer, live happier, and raise the vibration of the planet when you embrace being a conduit for easy, gentle energy. And so that is. You feel better? An easy life is a divine life. Like you wouldn't intentionally go against the grain on something. You'd go with the grain. Thank you. Lydia here is going to share with us some of her artwork and colors, and welcome. We're so glad to have you here.
Well, thank you for those very wonderful insights. I appreciate it, and the beautiful resonance of the chakras and the wonderful insights into, how we can live our life, as a blessing to the world. Well, I want to tell you, metaphysics and the ideas of the chakras, I, as an artist, embrace this idea, and it's really the basis of my artwork and kind of the motivating factor behind a lot of the art pieces I do. I got intrigued with the idea that the 7 chakras were the 7 colors of the spectrum, starting with red, orange, and then I began to connect it with ideas in physics and metaphysics. In physics, color is a frequency of light. That idea, I began to integrate that idea in physics and metaphysics and the chakras, linking it with the spiritual idea of the chakras as whirling energy centers, the spin that creates what we are. I began to integrate these ideas and think, well, how do I manifest this in art? How do I translate this into artworks, into a visual format? And that became the motivation for artworks, and I think maybe some new age artworks, because we move into a world where maybe we're moving out of the more patriarchal religions, and because I was raised in Christianity, the Christ on the cross, I started thinking, well, how do these other ideas bring new visions and new spiritual artworks to us? So it really became a long meditation, and the more I learned, I began to create artworks of it. So one of the artworks I created was this piece. These are 7 figures in the 7 colors of the spectrum, starting with the color red and moving into orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, ultraviolet. Those are the 7 frequencies of light and 7 colors of the spectrum. Well, I began to think, well, how do we use color? How do we use these chakras to really engage with our lives and energize our lives and make our lives more empowered? And I created this artwork to embrace this idea. And I created kind of a meditation around it, where we envision ourselves imbued with each of these colors. And if you would indulge me, because the idea is, yes, I created an artwork, but we ourselves are artworks. We are individuals, artworks creating our lives. So if you'll indulge me for a moment, we can kind of envision ourselves enveloped in the color red, the first chakra, the color that represents the security, foundation of our lives. Envision that, and then permeate that color into our aura. Envision, perhaps you see flashes of red moving out the edges of your fingernails or out of your eyelashes or your hair. Maybe you feel yourself saturated with it. So, this artwork can be a guide for it, but envision it also in your mind, empowering yourself with red. And then, of course, we move into orange. Now, each of the body parts are connected to these chakras, as you know. And I created this sculpture. I call it the Chakra Goddess, in which I It's a sculpture kind of like the ancient Isis, the Isis in King Tut's tomb. She stands a frontal piece with her arms outstretched. But I embedded into the sculpture gemstones that would represent each of the 7 chakras. Well, for the color red, I chose a garnet, a red garnet, and I embedded it into the body. And of course, as part of the meditation, you can envision ingemming yourself. Embedding a gemstone into your body. Just imagine, accepting the power of the gemstone. And why are gemstones powerful? Well, like the crystals, the gem, the forces of the earth in its creation process, the eons of igneous fire, the eons of contracting cold, those gemstones encapsulated that power, the power of the earth's creation. So they become like signets or motifs for us to hold that power. When we have a garnet, we have that power of red and all of the earth's process that produced that gemstone. So I put a garnet for the first chakra, the red, and then for the second chakra, I have this is a yellow, kind of a yellow gold citrine, citron they call it, for the second one. And of course that is for the second chakra. Now the second chakra is associated with the creative, procreative element in our body. And then we kind of divide our body parts, because the feet may be the red chakra, and then the ankles are the orange, the second chakra. And the second chakra is creative, procreative. The genital area is the second chakra, the creative, procreative element in us. And then, of course, maybe the wrists. The wrists, because they're very delicate, and it's the point where the vein comes closest to the skin. They usually put perfume on the wrist, because that is where the fragrance will exude best, because it's close to the vein and the skin. So we can, when you do the energy, you can imagine kind of empowering those parts. And then here on the face becomes also part for the whole. The chin may be associated with the red chakra, and then the lips, which of course are very delicate and very sensitive. You can feel most on the skin on your lips compared to other parts of your face. The lips become the second chakra, or this color orange, representing the sensuality, the sensuousness. So when you do the meditation, you can also perhaps think of this kind of figure as a glyph describing these different chakra points and energy centers. And again, this is to empower yourself so that you, as a blessing in your life, can be more productive and effective and, be in tune with yourself. Then the third chakra is the golden citrine. This is a 41 karat, just beautiful golden citrine. This is a cut stone. And of course that goes into the solar plexus, and it represents our pride, our will, our self-esteem, kind of what holds us up, the strength of our center. And on the lower part of the body, it could represent the thighs, the calf of the thighs. And then in the upper part of the body, the face, the nose. The nose is kind of our structure, the architecture of our face. So perhaps envision yourself with the golden citrine, the color gold, and kind of saturating yourself in the golden light, and energizing that pride and self-esteem and that willpower as part of your creative life. Then we move into the color green, and the green is the emotion. It's the upper part of the body, and it's the heart chakra. I'm sure many people here are very familiar with the chakra system. So this was, of course, my effort to understand it and create an artwork that would represent it. So the process of creating the artwork was also my growth in understanding, and also creating some kind of an image where people could envision and relate to the idea. So here, the color green, I used a tourmaline. Now, I could have used an emerald. That would have made this piece very, very expensive. An emerald this size. But, of course, a tourmaline is a beautiful green. The green color, the emotionality, and perhaps you can envision yourself cut and chiseled like an emerald. When the light strikes you, it penetrates the beautiful green that's inside of you, and it also reflects this flashing green light. So imagine yourself as an emerald figure, an emerald sculpture, a sculpture of you made out of an emerald, and projecting this green light and also absorbing the green light, absorbing the light energy that goes into green, the green energy, the green frequency of light, that certain frequency level. And of course, this idea of color as frequency connected to the idea of the fact that we are matter, and what is matter. I'm sure you're familiar with the famous Einstein equation, E equals mc squared. Well, the irony of that, E is energy, M is matter, right? The C is the velocity. It has to do with the spin of matter. Well, matter spinning at a speed is energy. And so, ironically, what was so amazing about this equation, and by the way, people give Einstein credit, and yes, but few people know that Einstein was very influenced by metaphysics. Not many people know that about his life, that his first wife, or woman he was involved with, Mileva, was very involved in theosophy. And she went with him to a lot of the lectures in the 1920s in Europe, and they were in Ulm, that area of Germany. There were many lecturers that were speaking about theosophy, speaking about the ether, speaking about the idea that matter or material is really ether, is really energy. Einstein was very influenced by this. And Mileva, his first wife, a woman, of course, you're looking here, the teens, the 20s. She was working on a PhD in physics, but she had 2 children with him. She did not finish her PhD. But these ideas were connected to her and with the thinking of the time. And in fact, when he won his great award, he won a large monetary award for this E equals mc squared, he gave her a lot of that money. You know, it's kind of interesting. But she never took claim for being the founder or the originator of these ideas. But we must realize, and it's not well publicized, but a lot of Einstein's thinking is connected to metaphysics. And of course, it was a tremendous breakthrough, a leap forward to unlock matter from just raw material and to connect it to energy. That was a huge leap, which of course we're very aware of in metaphysics. So I connect a lot of these ideas that are in science to metaphysics, and they influence the creation of my artwork because I'm linking a lot of these just amazing ideas from science into a visual format. And it's creating and helping me with the understanding of something that's very ancient also. This idea of chakras, it comes out of a very ancient concept too. And it was used originally in medicine and healing. People were trying to determine how to heal using color, using energy, using light. That is a healing format. So, anyway, think science as well as ancient world, as well as, how you could manifest this in your life, because you indeed are the artwork. You are the chakra god or goddess, embedded with these gems and stones. So I have the green for the heart chakra, and then of course on the face, in the lower part of the body would be the knees. The knees can be very sensitive. Somebody falls to their knees. This is a very vulnerable part. It's kind of an emotional. Sometimes you feel weak in the knees, you know. Could be the elbows connected to the color green, certain parts of the body. And then the heart, of course, on the upper torso. And then on the face, the eyes. The eyes. Sometimes the eyes express the emotion, the feeling. It comes out of the eyes. So connecting the color green to all these and imbuing yourself with these kind of green energy with the emerald. And then, of course, I go into the chakra, the color blue, and it's the throat chakra. I put a topaz here, a blue topaz, because blue, powers of communication, speech, writing, ability, publishing, like in your beautiful publishing project, communicating ideas in the color blue. So maybe you at will can say, oh, I need more blue in my life. Powers of communication. See, I wore blue because I have to communicate today. but you know, maybe even doing that is kind of a magical way to coordinate the world and this. So I put the color blue here, and you can envision yourself as a topaz energizing this. It might be connected more with the eyebrows, which are kind of an expression of your ideas through the brow with the color blue. And then, very important one is the indigo. And I'm sure you're familiar with the indigo connected to the pineal and the pituitary gland, the so-called third eye, because we have these eyes. We've evolved as a species to have these eyes where we see the world as it is. Well, this isn't all of the world. There's more going on than what we can see. There's the third eye. And a lot of what we do in metaphysics is cultivating the powers of the third eye. It even comes into our vocabulary with the word insight. Somebody that has insight is seeing sight, yes, but also something else that's going on, or intuition. And a lot of times we have to have this. You have to make a decision, and you're gathering all the variables and trying to come up with a logical decision, but there's pieces of information you don't have. There's something that may be wrong or misrepresented, and you have to use your intuition to sort of unravel where this is. The information that you have may not be accurate or may not be complete, so your intuition is unraveling this, and you have to make a decision that goes into the future that's going to affect your life or other people's life. So this is where you're calling on the powers of the third eye, the powers of the intuition to unscramble this so that you can make and see forward and make a decision that will affect you, other people. So a lot of times in metaphysics we're cultivating that power of the third eye, which is the indigo. And part of the meditation is envisioning the indigo, the purple, saturating your body, saturating your mind, and just kind of enveloping you in this beautiful indigo, dark purple, so that you can go deep into yourself and unravel all of the data and information, restructure it in order to envision how you're going to move forward. A lot of times we do this at night in dreams. I know sometimes when I'm kind of in a dilemma at night, my dreams, not even dreams that I can remember, there's some kind of an unraveling process. And when I wake up in the morning, I kind of know where this is going, and I can start moving in a direction. Sometimes it's not even articulated. It could just be subconscious, not even completely brought into words. But sometimes that indigo power is working in the world of dreams and at night. And of course, the whole idea that we can enhance that. We can enhance that indigo by, at will, bringing this color purple to us, this dark purple, saturating ourselves in it, and allowing this to have effect, this purple light, and strengthen the third eye. So that I have over here. And then, of course, the seventh chakra, the diamond. I have a little diamond up here. The diamond. Why the diamond? Because the diamond. The diamond captured the strongest energy of the earth in the eons of igneous fire and contracting cold. That diamond captured that energy and remained pure and clear, and is the hardest stone. They use diamonds in drilling bits. That is the hardest stone. So strong. So, being like a diamond, yourself, being able to withstand the pressure and the stress, and keeping your light. That's the difference between the diamond and coal. Coal and lesser elements, they haven't gone through that processing like the diamond has. But the diamond is basically the same chemical combination that coal is. But coal can crack, but the diamond is strong because it has had eons of time to withstand the pressure. So sometimes when you're under pressure, you have to maybe almost welcome it. Well, good, this is my opportunity to strengthen myself and withstand this and not rupture and crack, gather my forces. So